Creating the illusion. What illusion? Is art an illusion? Possibly. The nature of what we create can be either literal or not. When someone composes and plays music, the music is just music. We hear it and we all know that it's music. When music is meant to sound like a sound effect, or when a guitar sounds like it is talking, then music represents something it is not. But by its nature, music typically doesn't pretend to be anything else but music. And if the music is good, then the emotions and the feelings that we get from listening to it are quite real. I mean, there's no illusion there. If we really go into a heavy discussion, we could argue that we all are living in an illusion, and everything that we see and hear and experience is just a thin cover over the real, deeper truth. So let's not go there this time. Let's keep this discussion centered around the concept of art. When a sculptor chisels an abstract form and doesn't make the stone be anything else but stone, there's no illusion. There's just the shape that the artist has decided to show us. If a painter decides to paint 3 purple triangles on a canvas, or a series of squiggles, there is no illusion. There are simply triangles and squiggles. They are what they are, and they do not pretend to be anything but that. I suppose anytime something masquerades as something that it isn't, it becomes an illusion. When we draw marks on a page that look like hair or clouds, then we are creating that illusion. Trying to represent a 3-dimensional world on a 2-dimensional surface is pure illusion. At least sculptors have actual 3-dimensional means at their disposal to represent 3-dimensional objects. A drawing or painting uses totally different concepts to create their image. Translating 2 dimensions into 3-dimensional terms is like using a different language. For instance, the difference in an edge and a line. When we look at a drawing of, let's say, a tabletop, the sharp edge of the table is falsely represented as a line drawn on the page. In reality, lines do not exist in the 3-dimensional world. Even a power cable, stretched from pole to pole seen from a distance, appears to be nothing more than a line across the sky. But in actuality, it is a real form that has 3-dimensional properties. And no matter how small something is, if that thing exists in a 3-dimensional world, even a single molecule has a top and bottom, and it has mass. Lines, on the other hand, exist only in a 2-dimensional plane and do not. Consider the edge of that table, or even the sharp edge of a knife. No matter how sharp that blade is, it has a measurable width. It is so sharp that it looks like a line, but it isn't. And that is a small piece of the puzzle when we try to draw real 3-dimensional objects on a 2-dimensional surface. And when we try to draw something as complicated as a portrait, it's actually kind of a miracle human beings can do that at all. But we can. And some people get really good at creating that illusion. You know, it looks like a face or a mountain or a cup of coffee, but brother, it ain't. No matter how well drawn these things may be, they are still nothing more than formless marks on a page. And the better we get at drawing and painting, the better we get at performing this magic trick. We even do it without thinking about it. Without thinking about the illusion, that is. We just draw what we are aiming for, and the magic just happens. As I draw the sketch of this person singing, I am representing the illusion that it is a face. But of course, it isn't. I am representing that there is light and shadow, but there are only lighter or darker marks on a white piece of paper. Given the nature of the subject, a person singing a song, there is also the attempt at creating the sound of her voice. And that's a seemingly impossible task. Even if I succeed at doing that the best that I ever could, it would still never compare to an actual person, there in the flesh, projecting her real voice. I do my best, and I hope that the illusion is deceiving enough to help people forget that they are looking at a drawing, even though the pen marks are obvious. And that's another crazy point when discussing drawings and paintings. How can that illusion be maintained even when the brushstrokes and pen marks are obviously present? If something is photorealistic, then it looks smooth like skin, and people are easily fooled in that way. But when a painter scratches in a shape of color or globs a dollop of thick paint as a highlight on the tip of someone's nose, the paint isn't even pretending to be flesh. We see the paint, we know that it's paint, yet we still choose to accept the illusion. It's like knowing how a magic trick is done and then still being tricked by it. It shouldn't be possible, but somehow it works. Maybe that's why the world needs artists, to maintain that magic. So, keep up the illusion. Thank you for listening, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.